Okay kids, here we are today. My truck, on the way to work this morning, blew a spark plug out of the left head, the second from the front cylinder. Fortunately, I've had this happen before. It's a deficiency in the design that Ford has on their aluminum heads, where there are not enough threads to hold a spark plug. There's only 5 turns to the threads, and that's just not enough to hold the spark plug under load. Anyway, here's what we gotta do. Okay, I'm going to talk about Ford 5.4 liter and the V10 cylinder heads with the spark plug blowout problem. And this is the repair kit that I carry, because I've had 2 of them blow out on me already, and so I just keep a couple of spares in case of another blowout. So that is the cylinder head repair kit from NAPA. Part number is 42025, and you can pause and read through the instructions on that sheet. There's just one size to the sheet. There's the S-panel if you need that. Okay, so what does that kit have? It has, this is the new thread. This, you drive this into the cylinder head, and you see it has its own little cutting edges in the threads there. And what you do is you get Permatex high temperature thread locker. Let me see if I can get that without the glare on it. And you apply that liberally over these threads. You completely coat the whole thing, and then to put that in the head you need to have a thin wall socket. So you need an 11/16 socket. This is a Craftsman, but it's a very thin walled socket, and you can see in here I have a piece of black tape, and that was to give the socket extension additional grip on the socket to be able to pull it out off of the new insert spark plug seat. And so this here is a very inexpensive, affordable option compared to other options to repair blown out spark plugs in the Ford aluminum heads. And so that is what happens. Now, typically what will happen on your Ford engine is you will just be driving along, and all of a sudden you hear a pop a pop a pop a pop a pop a pop sound. And what has happened is the spark plug has blown out, and right here you see the coil for the cylinder. So, and what typically happens is that screw and the dog ear tab that goes to it breaks out and blows off the engine, either lands somewhere in the engine compartment or you lose it somewhere along the road. And this is what happens. You see how the dog ear has just snapped off. And so what you do is, typically the spark plug will be blown out of there too, and if you can find it, this is what the spark plug will look like. See, the electrodes have all been crushed in. So what you will do is find yourself a NAPA store and you get this here seat repair kit, and it comes with this here new self-tapping seat, and it comes with a special spark plug that goes in there. It's a platinum plug, which is nice. Autolite Revolution H1, or is it H7? Can't quite read what it says. Well, HT2 on the other side. So it's the smaller plug than the original plug is, and you need a smaller size socket for that, which I don't have here. And this is the old spark plug that, okay, well, I guess the old spark plug is different size than that. That's just a standard spark plug socket for, I guess, an older engine. But anyway, so you need to have a thin wall socket, and the reason you need a thin walled socket is that any other socket has too large of a diameter to fit down through the hole in the head to drive the new seat into the spark plug opening. So it's very important that if you are going to make this repair yourself, you have a kit in your kit, a socket that will go fit down the hole for the spark plug. Okay, so then you need the Permatex high temperature thread locker. Thoroughly coat the threads on the new seat, and then you just simply tighten it down and drive it down until it seats, and it will self-seat up against this cone section here, and you will feel all of a sudden it gets tight and wants to stop. Once you feel it getting tight, stop. You've bottomed out. Let the thread locker set up and do its job. Then what you do is you get some thread lubricant anti-seize for your new spark plug, and you coat the threads on the spark plug, and then you put the spark plug down the hole and into the new seat, and you snug that down. You don't want to tighten it, you just want to put it in snug. And according to the directions on this, okay, it doesn't really give instructions on the bottle itself. How about this bottle? No instructions on that bottle either. But you thread it down, and when I did mine, I waited for a couple of hours to let it set up before I started the engine and drove away, and I had no problems. The engine worked fine right off the bat. And so back to this, you've put your high temperature thread locker on the new seat. You've put your anti-seize on the spark plug, which is important because the next time you change your spark plug and you try to back that out without the threads anti-lock, you might actually end up backing out the threaded seat too. So you just want to be careful with that. And then another thing that is in the kit is these are the factory, the standard boot that goes down into the head, and the repair kit gives you this new boot for the spark plug that is shorter, and it also has the spring inside of it, so you need to pull this spring off of the coil. It just pulls out, and then you press and pop the new spring into the coil. There's a little bit of a dog ear tab inside of that, and so it just slips over that. And then you get your 7mm socket, and you run the screw through the dog ear on the coil and snug it back down onto the top of the head for the intake manifold. And so you can see here's the screw for that, and this here is the signal power wire for the coil, and you just plug that back in and you are ready to go. And over on this side here, there's the Motorcraft one, and there is the new NAPA coil on that side. So we're going to get on it now. I've only got two hands, and I can't really show how to do this without both hands. So that's what the fun and excitement is. And just to show you, right in here is the culprit. Don't know if you can see that down there, but that's where the problem is. Yeah, I think you can just see the hole. Okay, let's go fix it. Here I'm trying to position the camera so that you can see the hole for the spark plug down through all the wires and stuff on the top of the head. It's if you look down through the hole, you can just see the hexagonal shape of the new seat for the new spark plug. And I think I have one here. Yeah, I think is it this one here. Yeah, that is the other new one. So I've changed out two of these things now. And I've never had a problem with it ever since. And it can just happen at any time without any warning. This is the box that the kit comes in here. Cylinder head repair kit. Ford, let me see again. Here's the part number 600-3248. And it is a NAPA part, and it's usually just right on the shelf. So the instructions, contents: 1 boot, 1 spring, 1 sleeve, 1 spark plug. Kit rethreads the cylinder head while preventing shavings from falling into the cylinder. Using compressed air and safety goggles, blow out the spark plug hole to remove any debris present, which is kind of, you don't need to do that because when this happens, typically the engine was running and it's already blown everything out of the spark plug hole anyway, so I don't know if I'd even bother with that step. Remove the new spark plug from the kit and install a small amount of anti-seize to the thread area set aside. Install a small amount of high temperature Loctite to the rear sleeve threads. Okay, and that is, they are Loctite to the repair sleeves threads, just to make sure we get that right. And I just put a bunch of Loctite on all the threads, damped it off with a cloth a little bit on the front so it wouldn't drop down into the cylinder. Step 4 is carefully install the repair sleeve into the cylinder head until it bottoms out, and it will turn in fairly snugly as it's cutting new threads into the head, and then when it reaches the bottom, the seat on the new seat, it will stop. And so when you feel that stop, because you will destroy the new threads you just made. So step 5, allow the thread lock to cure per the manufacturer's recommendations. Step 6, reinstall the spark plug and torque to specs. See the shop manual, which is not very tight. 7, change plug wire end to provided to match new spark plug. And that is just the spring that's in the kit in the boot to go from the coil down to the spark plug. And so there you see the directions. So there you go. That is how you simply replace a blown out spark plug in a Ford 5.4 liter aluminum head. It also works on the V10 head, and I'm not sure if it is also applicable to the smaller V8, the 4.6 liter, I think it is. And I think the kits were, well, I have the ticket right here. Let me see, how much did I pay for that? It was, well, I paid $180, but the repair kit itself, okay, $114 for the repair kit, $11 for the thread locker. The ignition coil was $45. Okay, and then I had another invoice here, and that was, I also had to buy a 17 millimeter 6-point deep socket, and that was to do the yeah, that was a thin-walled socket to go down the head to be able to drive the seat into the head. So just make sure you have the tools, and I think that this socket actually did not work, and I got a small Craftsman socket that you saw earlier in the video that did work, and it was a 12-point socket. So there you go. That kit is a lifesaver if you are driving your Ford truck out in the middle of nowhere and your spark plug blows out of the cylinder head. You've got the kit, and you can actually make this repair within half an hour's time. So okay, I hope that this video helps, and see you on the next video. And if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.